Shane and Hannah and Mara.
Oh, okay.
Good morning,
Oh,
everyone.
got it. Okay.
Good morning, Shane.
Morning, Shane.
Good morning. All right. So let's rock and roll.
Yep.
All right. I'll call the meeting to order. It's 9:03 a.m., December 5th.
Do you want to do attendance also?
Yeah, we have myself, Hannah Smith. We have Lonzo Tackett, Bennett Johnson, Connie Redmond, and Shane Crone. Sorry, Shane, is that how you say your last name?
It's Krogan, close enough.
Krogan. Sorry, I didn't know if it was silent.
It's okay.
And good to see everybody. And I forgot, do we need to make a motion to start?
For the minutes?
No, you just need to go to public comment.
Okay, all right. Any public comment?
There are no attendees online
Okay.
or in person.
Okay, and was everybody able to review the minutes from last meeting, or last couple?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Does somebody want to make a motion for that?
I'll move that we adopt the minutes from 11/7 or from November 7th and November 16th, 2022.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome.
So motion passes unanimously.
Yeah. All right, so first up is discussing the newspaper articles for December.
So this, if we remember, this item is on here because it's going to be a standing item on the agenda. And so we're looking for ideas for the theme of the newspaper article that I will probably write and submit. So any ideas?
We're gonna open December 30th. Should that be in the article?
I think that would be more a news, the social media,
Social media.
and the e-newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah. That I'm sure the paper is gonna want to do something on you, so,
Okay.
yeah. In the absence of any ideas, I think what I'm gonna do is just walk down Broadway and do one of two things. One, talk to people about how the Christmas shopping is going. And then I'm gonna gather some of the information from the fronts of the buildings regarding their historical lineage, and I'll write something on that. How's that sound to you guys online?
I think it sounds great.
Yeah, that
Thank
sounds
you.
good to me.
And is that in conjunction with the email that goes out from Mara asking if anything's going on with these businesses?
So no, that would be something separate, but at the same time, when I write something for the newspaper, I'll also do a version of it for social media, and I'll also do a version of it for the e-newsletter.
Okay. That's awesome.
So what Mara will ask for is submission to the e-newsletter, events or specials or any of that kind of stuff, which Lonzo, that's where you would come in.
Right. And this is more trying to get historical stuff and
Yeah.
things
You
like
know, like Ace Hardware started out as blah, blah, blah.
that. Right.
The Lonzo's building started out as a hardware store and on and on.
Got it. That's great.
I have a question about the newspaper. Historically, has it been just like reports on positive things happening in town, current events, or negative and positive, or what is it typically reported on the newspaper?
Yeah, the submission to the newspaper has largely been around publicizing what the DEC has been doing. And so the activities of the DEC. And so actually, I could probably talk about the tree lighting and how successful it was, and yeah, a little bit of that. But it's really, the submissions to the newspaper were really meant to give some or increase the presence and the awareness of the DEC and the things that DEC does.
That makes sense.
But having said that, it looks to me like I don't get the newspaper, and I don't think anybody else
I
does.
do.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so have you seen anything in the newspaper about the DEC recently?
I think in the around Estacada, there was several weeks where it talked about the tree lighting.
Okay, but no article that said, this is what the DEC does
No.
and no. And
No.
nothing about shopping local Christmas time article,
I think there was this last week.
really?
I'll have to look again.
Will you? And
Yeah.
let me know?
Yeah.
Because the first okay, so we've submitted 2 articles so far, and the first article was not carried by them, to my knowledge. And so we're going to resubmit it, and I just doctored it just a little tiny bit so that it's relevant. And it starts out saying, you may remember the DEC is in place, is a city commission that's in place to promote and support downtown businesses and economic development, and goes on from there. That one didn't get covered or didn't get picked up by them, but it sounds like possibly the second one did.
Okay. I'll have to look. I don't remember it as being written by you, but more of a general
Yeah.
shop local.
Okay.
I'll look when I get home.
And they might not actually say it's by me. They might
Okay.
just put it in because I don't really care.
Okay,
And yeah,
okay.
Can I interject?
Sure.
We're submitting these as a press release, not as
Mhm.
an article, as you are a contributor. So they choose whether to print it depending on what is.
Understood.
Okay.
it's been my experience in the past, and I haven't worked with this particular staff on this newspaper, but when I was president of the chamber, then anything I wrote to them, they picked up and pretty much put in the
Yeah.
newspaper word for word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've had a lot of staff turnover.
Yeah.
Emily was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, and partly the reason that they were interested in doing that is that was copy that they didn't have to write.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And well written.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, we'll stay on top of that. Back to you, Hannah.
All right, so we have social media posts for December. So Lonzo, Julie's not here, huh?
No, she's not.
We had a meeting last week just to kind of discuss, get on the same page about how many times we should post, how we can get in contact with businesses about what to post, hashtags, and just kind of went over things like that, and who we can talk to, what we can post about. So we didn't really come up with, as for how many times to post, we didn't really come up with that. We're open to suggestions, but right now, Lonzo, you can speak on this, but I think we came to the conclusion that there's going to be a lot to post about, we think, if we ask businesses, whether they're sales or just events coming up. So we kind of put that aside because at first we wanted, at least one time a week, but we kind of did some research on posts that were already posts, and we think it'll probably be more, a couple times a week with just the stuff going on and the new year coming and whatnot. And we didn't really make a schedule for what to post because I think that's just kind of like a monthly, just a monthly meeting that we'll either have to do or I'll have to do research on what we want to post for businesses, as we don't really know until we ask. So I wanted to ask Mara real fast if she, if we can kind of be involved and get the word when you do email, because from what I remember in the last meeting or two, you do email or will be emailing all the businesses that we have for downtown to see what they have coming up for next month, so we can put it in the e-newsletter. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That has been just for the e-newsletter, but of course you can do social media posts out of those things too. What I could do is just forward those off either to you or the whole subcommittee, and you all can decide whether or not they'll be utilized for social media. I think I would just want to include something in the email that does inform the businesses that what they're sharing can also be used on that platform or those platforms.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. If we could kind of get their permission in this email and just letting them know we have this Instagram and this Facebook, and educating them on what we have and might entice them to be more in contact with us about what's happening with their businesses. And do you have any idea about the percentage of businesses that you email or that you would be emailing?
Out of the downtown district?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we have a total of over
1,000.
70.
Okay.
Over 70 businesses, I think, downtown, and almost all of them get emailed. As many contacts as I have, I've reached out if I don't have a contact for them. Unfortunately, I don't always hear back with an email address, but it is the majority of the businesses.
Okay, that's awesome. And I think, Elena, were you able to print out the First Friday graphics?
Yep, they're on the tables.
So I just whipped those up. They're pretty simple. I'm open to suggestions or critique or whatever, but this would be on our Instagram and then shared to Facebook as well. I wasn't sure really how much information to put on the graphic, as you could still write a caption under it. But I think, is the First Friday mainly for just going downtown, shopping and eating? Or is it based around like the Spiral Gallery, who has more of a
They're
presence?
the ones that pretty much started it, but
Okay.
it is to, because sometimes they'll do a music crawl. And I think the chamber wants to, I believe, get more involved and maybe have some of the other businesses open and doing events for First Friday. But that's hasn't really been discussed a lot.
Okay. And that just probably ranges from staying open longer.
Well, we, just kind of brainstormed. We thought maybe Panda Express, maybe you could do a cooking demo, or maybe Fearless could, do something, kind of so people could rotate around to the different businesses and get, Crescendo Dance Studio might give a real quick 2-step lesson or something like that.
Got it. Oh, that's
You know,
awesome.
Hannah, the Spiral Gallery kind of owns it, but many years ago, I tried to expand it a little bit by asking downtown businesses if they wanted to do something just very similar to what you just said. And I didn't get very much response. It might be that its time has come to
Yeah,
expand it.
yeah.
And maybe that's a conversation to have with downtown businesses to see whether or not they all want to, and then we could publicize it. So if, the dance studio said, yeah, we want to, do some little dance lesson or any of those things, we could publicize it ahead of time in our different social media and e-newsletter platforms and actually promote it a little bit. But as it stands, the only one that's really signed up to do anything is the Spiral Gallery.
Chris has his hand up.
Yeah, I tried to, when I first started with Ant Farm, I tried to get the first Friday going again. And so that was probably about a year ago, coming into the summer. And the response out of a lot of businesses were more like confusion on what they would do. Without giving some kind of a discount or something free. There was a lot of apprehension of like them even fitting the mold of a First Friday. So I would, I guess, recommend maybe having some ideas that you would offer to these businesses besides that you can promote them, because they just didn't know what they were going to do during that time, other than just being open.
And that's probably enough, just staying open.
Mhm.
Was there any talk? I know this might be might be far-fetched. Was there any talk about for the First Friday having I don't know, like blocking off the street, or is that too much? Like making like a Friday night market?
I had asked people about it, but they said that there were certain businesses that would like go up in arms if we shut the street down. So we didn't even go that route.
Yeah, I get it. But
Yeah.
you know,
I
down.
think it'd be more of a spring, summer type of thing too.
Yeah,
If you're gonna
that's
put a
true.
lot of planning into it, make it where we're pretty much assured there'll be good weather.
Right. Yeah, that's maybe something to think about for, June, July, and August or something. First Friday, of this 3 months, three months of the first Friday, and have some booths out and.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a note of that, but yeah, makes sense weather-wise.
Something that I want to mention is that I worked for 18 years on the corner of Martin Luther King and
Mm.
Alberta. And I was there when they started First Friday. And at first it was started by the art galleries there. And it quickly became more of a circus. And the businesses were supportive of it in the beginning, and then they grew to hate it. And, did everything in their power because you couldn't drive up and down the street. And it took, a half hour to go from one end of Alberta to the other. And they felt like, people were coming in and setting up on the sidewalks that didn't have anything to do with the downtown businesses. And so other groups were capitalizing on the event, and it was taking away from the businesses that actually were brick and mortar and, paid taxes to be on that street. So we want to keep that in mind.
Yeah, totally understand. And I think that would take some planning and obviously rules to have, and maybe we wouldn't have extra vendors. Maybe we could just have a band at the end of the street and just walk the street. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ideas. Because we are still a very small town, and if we shut off just Broadway from, what is it, second and fourth, or third, between, not the whole thing,
Fourth and third.
fourth and third, we got plenty of other alleys and Main Street to drive on, but I get the concern, Bennett, for sure.
I just want to, want you guys to be aware that we will be doing construction on Main Street. So make sure that if we're planning anything that's going to be shutting down Broadway, it's not going to be at the same time that we're shutting down Main Street for construction.
I don't think we're actually suggesting that we shut down Broadway. I think we're just, kicking around ideas at this point.
Okay.
But yeah,
Good
that's
point.
good point.
Do you know when that is, Elena? Is that summer or?
We're hoping to be done in June, but it depends on basically PGE. They're probably, what undergrounding the power is going to be the longest portion of that. And so that depends on their timeline.
Oh, wow, that's great. They're going underground with power lines.
Yeah, just for that portion of Main Street.
Oh,
So
cool.
Hannah, did you want feedback on the visuals?
Sure. Yeah. Feedback on whatever.
I like anything that shows the downtown streets. The murals are fine and all that, but we're talking about downtown, so either the first one. And then the three
We'll
on the
need
back.
We'll need at least, one a month. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of planning.
Okay.
out the
Oh,
rest.
okay, okay.
I think there's 10 there, so that'll,
Okay,
That's just-
okay. I didn't know you were gonna rotate. That sounds good.
but yeah, so there would be one a month. That was my idea. So
Yep.
one a month with different backgrounds, different,
Okay,
yes, it wouldn't be the same one every month.
So on that, I would suggest that you post it more than once.
Okay.
And the other thing is that you might want to include the time on it and maybe, I don't know about this, but maybe a line that kind of describes what it is. Because not everybody will know. And it might, just say downtown businesses, stay open late, and whatever, some kind of call to action, which you already have with the shop downtown Estacada.
Sure. Okay, I can maybe add shop downtown, Estacada. Something about maybe them open extended hours. But that can also be written in the caption as well, just explaining what it is and who's involved maybe. And maybe that month, if there's a certain business that's doing something, we can add it.
Okay, sounds good.
But overall, is that everybody?
Yeah, it's nice, very nice.
I mean, simple, straight to the point with
Yep.
some fun pictures. Okay. Well, Alonzo, do you have any just input, or I mean, we're kind of, it's kind of like a monthly thing, I think it's going to be really hard to plan out social media for the next 5 months, if that makes sense. It's ongoing.
And I think we also discussed about not just posting things about the businesses, but also some of the like the Veterans Memorial thing over there, and discussing like suicide awareness during winter time, and just other things that look neat too.
Yes. Yeah, I have that on my notes too. I was going to bring that up, and Mara, Elena can give us some insight on where we are and what our borders, our constraints are. Are we able to post about fun things like that? Go down to the firehouse, get a tour with your kids, kind of stuff. Go to the, we got a cool Veterans Memorial you can go check out. Just posting
Yeah.
just content like that. Where are we at with what we can post and what we can't? I know the main thing is to post businesses, but if we bring people downtown, cool things that we have downtown, it'll get people downtown in general, because some people don't even know that there's a downtown.
And also another thing to tag onto that is working closer with the school about their parades that they do for state wrestling, state football, playoffs. I think that we should be able to really publicize that kind of stuff, because they're going down downtown streets, and we can get people on the sidewalks and cheering them on. So I think even like they did one for homecoming, King and Queen, right? And stuff. And I didn't see anything about it.
Yep, I remember that. It was a quick one. But I think that goes back to them getting a permit. Is that correct, ladies?
Yeah.
Yep. And just being more
Communication, maybe.
between everybody. Because if they have permits and all the things, is that stuff that we can post about?
Yeah, you can post about pretty much anything that is occurring in the downtown district, and that there's a map on it. I think it's in your booklet for your sorry, I can't see. There's a map, and there's also a map on the website that shows what the downtown district is. And so, yeah, like the fire district is included in it, the Veterans Memorial is included in it.
Okay, so things like, just, a random day where we need some contact, there's some cool shots of the firehouse we can post, and is that just right off the bat, is that something that we could post, come down?
Yeah,
And
my
hear
only
more.
concern is,
It's question or talking to them first.
yes.
making sure, because I believe they do tours. And I know they love to do that and they give the hats out and the stickers, but just double checking with them first, getting permission and then moving forward.
Yeah,
I just want to encourage you to really focus on the marketing and not on miscellaneous announcements. So in other words, our goal is to get people to come downtown and to promote the businesses that are in that downtown town. And to your, I think there is a map of
Yeah.
the downtown core in our business plan that specifies what area that we're dealing with. But if you had a business that was involved in suicide prevention, then I could see how that would be, sorry about that. I could see how that would be, something that business might ask you to put in. But just us saying, be sure and make sure that your sidewalks are shoveled and that kind of stuff. I don't see that as our focus, because once you start straying in that direction, then it takes your focus off of the true thing that we're supposed to be doing, which is the marketing.
Mhm.
So I don't see that it's a big problem if you every once in a while scatter in some kind of, some kind of helpful something or another.
Mhm.
But I have seen other organizations, including the chamber, go way down that road
Yeah.
and then, kind of forget what their core purpose was in the beginning.
Mhm.
So,
Totally. Yeah. Cause there's a variety of commissions that, we all kind of have a part. And I understand what you're saying fully.
and you may consider talking to the other commissions because they do events downtown.
mhm.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
they should be on the list that we send out that says, do you have anything you want us to put on are the social medias specific to DEC?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Then they should be on those lists that say, hey, give us content.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cause I feel like there's always events going on just among all those commissions too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, didn't even know about that.
Do we have any cool aerial shots of the downtown area?
Yeah, lots of them, I think.
A few drone shots. Drone shots and drone videos, and then a few that are on the first Friday graphics that I'm not sure that you can see, Shane.
Oh,
But
yeah,
there's
I
some cool
think
ones.
Mara emailed them out to
Yeah, I
everybody.
yeah,
emailed those to
I
everyone.
can see those. I'm looking at those now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a couple and then there's some drone shots and some with Mount Hood in the back and but yeah. All right. Well,
Well, I'm so glad that you guys got this social media committee operating and paying attention to that. That's a really big deal.
yeah, and I think it's just gonna take a little bit of elbow grease past these meetings and just a little bit of time, per month just to gather stuff. But I'm willing to do that, and I'm thinking Lonzo and Julie,
Absolutely.
will be willing to do it, an extra hour a month. I think we can get together and maybe put some things together and then send Mara. Are these posts, or Elena, do we need to all agree as a whole committee before things are posted, or can it just be the subcommittee, or how does that work?
You don't have to. That's up to you as a commission as well. I don't think realistically speaking, we'd be able to have everyone's approval. You'd always need to have a quorum, so on and so forth. So I think this is for you all to decide if the subcommittee would just move forward. Also, the social media posts we're saying might be from submissions from businesses, right? So not everyone's going to necessarily get a chance to look at that before we would need to put those up.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think it should stick with the committee and very soon what'll happen is that, the elbow grease that you're putting in now will pay back by business will start sending you stuff all the time. And I saw that with the, when we restarted the newsletters and the Facebook page for the chamber, it was just, pulling, extracting information all the time. And then it was like stand in line. So pretty soon it won't be very much work for the committee.
Sure. And like you said, it's just trying to get this train rolling.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. And I know we all, keep in contact individually, sometimes through email, and I think just through all that communication, we'll get some stuff done. So I think that's all I have to say. Where are we at? What's the next newsletter?
Yeah, so the e-newsletter is going to draw from the newspaper article submission. And so whatever I said for what we're going to put into the newsletter article this month, that's pretty much what's going to go into the e-newsletter as the theme part of it. And then what Mara's doing is before we do the e-newsletter, and we have that on the calendar, I can't remember what the dates were, she's going to reach out to the local businesses that we are in that area, downtown core, and anything that they send in as announcements, we're going to put in there, assuming it's appropriate.
Awesome. And I think just throughout these 3 or 4 outlets, we'll be able to just kind of rotate and just circulate really cool content.
Yeah.
For all of these outlets, which is a great start. All right, anybody have any input or comments before we go to just reviewing our goals? Kind of did that, but
So the two things that are on number 7, again, I think that this ought to be a standing agenda item. And the things that we want to get front and center right now is the decision about a potential Oktoberfest, who we would partner with on that, and then the door hangers, those 2 things. So, and Connie is at the center of both of them. So,
Yeah. Well, now that we got the tree lighting out of the way, I would like to focus on, I'd really like to get the door hangers out. So we can tell people about DEC and what events are coming up. I haven't had the opportunity yet to contact the person in Mount Angel about Oktoberfest, but that's on my list. And also we need to, I know it's early, but by February, we should be having a theme and grand marshals for the parade. So everybody, start thinking.
yeah.
And do we need to talk about uncorked or not? We're just not going to do it.
well, yeah, let's talk about it.
Is the main, I'm wondering, is the main crutch just the amount of glasses we have? that
That's
it?
it.
Overhead kind of, frustration. We have these things, but we can't get.
Yeah, and I don't know if next year the vendors are going to be in a better position to be at events and also have enough staff for what they need. I don't know how long that kind of a situation is going to go. Maybe I can do some preliminary contacting of vendors and see what they're thinking for 2023. It's an enormous amount of work. And, maybe we could, if we decide, unfortunately, the glasses say Estacada on them, maybe we can offer them as a Christmas gift or something. I don't know. But I can do some preliminary contacting of vendors and get a feel for what they think 23 is going to be like. But it's a huge amount of work.
So I don't think we should do both. I don't think we should do Uncorked and Oktoberfest.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
So-
then one of the things that Connie and I talked about is that this whole thing with vendors or businesses not having the resources to send people to serve their product is not something that's going to go away this year. And so what we had talked about is partnering with another organization that could have the liquor license and then purchasing the alcohol, beer mainly. And what that boils down to is that there's a lot of beer festivals, lots of beer festivals and they have all kinds of different models. And the model that the breweries like the best is the one where they promise to purchase a certain amount of beer, and then they say, and we may purchase up to so-and-so additional kegs. So have those ready. And so the first keg, they say, we'll purchase that. And then, we have the potential of purchasing another 5 kegs from you, something like that. So the brewery actually delivers the 5 kegs. And if they sell all 5 of them, then they pay you for all 5. And if they only sell one of them, that's the only one that they have guaranteed that they would buy. That for the breweries is the best one. The whole thing of donate a keg to me, breweries are tired of getting a cajillion requests to donate kegs, to every single possible imaginable nonprofit function that's going on. And so I really recommend that you go to that model, because then you're going to get a lot more participation. And then the beer is served by volunteers in that case.
But can the city purchase alcohol?
The city can't, but the nonprofit could.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Yeah, so if we contract with the nonprofit, we're
Okay,
paying the
okay.
nonprofit would be
Okay.
handling all the alcohol.
Okay.
And they would have the temporary license and
Yes,
all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So they would need to have insurance to cover them
Mhm.
and the permit through the OLCC.
Is there any way that my business could cover the permits and the?
Yes,
the
it doesn't
insurance?
have to be a nonprofit.
Okay, I would really love to be a part of this, and really anything that we could do, provide volunteers, vendors, all the beer. I would really love to do that.
Okay, so the nonprofit comes in, there has to be a nonprofit in the mix someplace.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is that if you're using volunteers for it, there has to be some kind of charity
Mhm.
involved. Otherwise, you have to pay them.
Okay. And it has to be, you have to pay them minimum wage, or is there?
Yeah, minimum wage.
Minimum wage?
Yeah.
Okay. I have 3 families that can volunteer and be the alcohol watch or whatever it is for the beer garden.
If
And-
everybody's getting paid, you don't need a nonprofit.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we won't need a nonprofit. My business will take care of everything.
Okay, so what I would like to think about doing then is January, let's start getting a subcommittee together to start looking at a timeline, what we're gonna need, just start the whole process.
And how many vendors are you looking
I,
for?
I have, I have no idea. It'd be nice
And
to.
what kind of vendors are you looking for?
Well, definitely food.
Food vendors?
Food vendors. We had the jewelry and the arts and all those kind of things. I don't really know. This is all new.
Okay.
We need music. I know accordion players.
I have 3 bands ready for Oktoberfest. They're polka style bands, but they play like Nirvana. They play, like alternative rock and stuff. So we have
Okay.
3 bands.
So why don't I just put it out there? So after the first of the year, I'll send out a message to the board, see who wants to be on this subcommittee. Definitely need to pick a date. I'll get in touch with.
Just remember, you have to, if there is no charitable thing involved here,
Mhm.
everybody gets paid, including you.
Mm,
So you don't get to, have people set up signs or
Yeah.
any of that kind of stuff. It's not just the beer serving and that kind of stuff. I think now it could be that the city could be they could volunteer for the city.
They can volunteer for the city, just not serving alcohol. So if they're
Yeah.
doing something else, like checking people
Mhm.
in, checking their bracelets, that isn't necessarily serving alcohol.
Yeah.
We just can't serve alcohol.
Okay, okay.
That's awesome.
So
Okay.
we can chat on that later. Also, this is going into the next fiscal year for this event.
Mhm.
So when you have your January meeting, you're going to want to prepare a budget for that so
Right.
that you can submit
Okay,
that for the
okay.
next fiscal year, since it's after July, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be looking at September, early October.
Okay.
We don't want to conflict with any other festival in the area.
So just to clear up something, so if you have your brewery come, another brewery comes and have your employees doing it,
Mhm.
you guys are all getting paid, that's fine.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's not a volunteer at that point. If you're providing your own people,
Mhm.
then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, food for Oktoberfest is pretty darn simple.
Oh, yeah.
Sausage.
Bratwurst,
Yeah.
buns, sauerkraut. And so they could do the food as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we totally can. The barbecuer that we have is 2,500 square inches, so we could do 1,000,000 brats on it.
Delicious.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
so
January.
January.
We'll establish a subcommittee, work on the budget, and just, I think quicker, the better for that. And especially reaching out to people so they know and they have
Mhm.
time versus reaching out in June and they're like, "Well,
So two things. One is that this whole small committee thing that we've done, where the small committee gets together and puts together some of the groundwork and then presents it to the full commission. That's been pretty successful, as long as we don't go over that 3-person mark. And so we may want to put together a subcommittee either now or in January to put together the budget and all that kind of stuff and then bring it to the full commission.
Okay.
The other thing is, are we deciding now that we're not going to do uncorked? Is that a decision that we want to make today?
That's my recommendation.
I think so too.
I'm with that as well."
Okay,
Yeah, in your code, it only says you need to do the 4th of July parade and one other free event, which we could consider the tree lighting the other free event. So there's nothing
Yeah.
that says you have to do that.
and glass doesn't deteriorate.
You
So,
can give it away
who
as
knows?
swag.
Swag bags for sure, or yeah, something will come up.
And then if maybe by for the January meeting, I'll have a draft of the door hanger. Want me to try that? Okay,
So do you want to establish a subcommittee real fast for Oktoberfest today or January?
I just kind of don't want to think about anything right now. If we could do January and people have it in their mind whether they want to, get into this or not, and I'll have some preliminary information, but I'm kind of done with my planning mode for the year.
I would also recommend, because it's a lot of work to plan events, to bring in outside people who aren't on the DEC for that one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep, for sure.
She's got her peeps.
Mm.
I'd be happy to be a part of the subcommittee for that.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks, Shane.
Okay, well, we
Definitely.
can finalize that in January if that's okay with everybody. Let's finish
Yep.
out the
Mhm.
year and just
Yep.
enjoy the holiday.
So is there a vote at all about uncorked or just?
Yeah, I was just
An
about to bring
agreement.
that up, do we actually want to have a motion to disband uncorked or not?
I think we should, just so it's official.
Why don't you make the motion then?
I make a motion that we not plan on doing uncorked for 2023. And maybe just see where it goes, but for 2023, not do uncorked.
A second.
All those I don't do that. I don't do
All
all
in
those.
favor?
I-
Aye,
Aye.
thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we have lots coming up. Do you want to go over the tree lighting, Connie, real fast before we finish up?
Yeah, it went pretty well. This was the first year that I was actually in charge of it. I've just been kind of a player in the past. I definitely see some things we can do different. And I've heard this complaint every year about you can't see the tree lighting, you can't see the speakers, blah, blah, blah. So I tossed around a couple ideas with Sadie and I think we can do some improvements. Bennett was great on the hot chocolate and we ran out of marshmallows, but I think it was pretty close to the same amount of people judging by how many we served. I thought we would have more because the weather was nicer. But yeah, it went well. Nobody got hurt. That's my biggest goal in life is events, nobody gets hurt. So,
Yeah, weather was great.
oh, it was wonderful.
A lot of people, I thought. I don't know. The music was great, the band and
Hannah, do you know how long the music went? Sadie thought they quit at 5:30. And they were supposed to go
No.
till at least 5 till 6.
I would say probably 5:45-ish,
Okay, okay,
maybe 5:40.
okay. I've got input to them to ask for feedback from the music. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think they could even go longer next year,
Yeah, they were supposed to.
up
So there
to,
wasn't a big gap between when they stopped and when Santa arrived. And
yeah,
Santa was a little bit late because the fire department had a call, but they got him here.
yeah, that was funny because the lights started going off and we started cheering, but then
And they
realized
went on by.
in actual somebody was hurt. But yeah, I think they could even probably go up to when Santa arrives or play a song for Santa to come, but
Yeah.
that's all easy stuff, but
Okay.
I think it was amazing. It's a really good night.
Very nice.
Yeah. And you were a rock star on the hot chocolate.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's all fun. Like I
Yeah.
say, nobody got hurt. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, anything else, you guys? If not, we can cut it.
I guess I just, this is December and I just want to say that I'm really happy with where DEC is going, even if it doesn't end up being a DEC. I'm really pleased with what we've done this year and the people that we have on the commission. We got some new blood, so thank you all and happy holidays.
Yeah, same. Appreciate everybody here and I think we're making some cool moves.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you guys. And if anybody's sick, feel better and then, yeah, have a great holiday and we'll all be in touch.
We still have public comment and number
Yeah.
2.
Yep, we still have public comment. There is no one online or in the waiting room. I do want to mention that the Oregon Main Street will reopen the revitalization grant in January. So if that's something that you guys want to consider applying for or promoting to a downtown business, you're going to want to do that before January. Because I know last year you sent out letters to all the downtown businesses asking them if they were interested. And then Hannah was the one who wanted to apply.
Do you know how much it's for?
200,000.
Is there, so we have to tell them what we're applying for. We can't just say, yeah, give us some money.
So you have an applicant. Hannah is the one who applied last year. You have an applicant who has a business in the downtown core that needs things, whether it's frontage improvements or interior improvements, that business or a group of businesses, let's say we want to do all the awnings downtown. And so you'll have a group of businesses that would apply. They're the applicant under us.
So this is a
I'll give
big
that to you.
deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah, it's $200,000.
Yeah, because it's likely that we're going to choose not to be part of the Main Street program.
Well, that's the council's decision.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty likely. And, but regardless of that, we don't, at the 11th hour, we don't have the manpower to actually do this. So even if we said, yeah, that sounds like a really great idea today, it would land in your lap
Yeah.
to solicit, requests from the businesses, et cetera. So,
So there's a lot of information that can be duplicated from last year's application. So the
Mhm.
only thing that can't be duplicated is the individual businesses' needs. So like last year, Hannah provided some information on the budget of what it would cost to do the repairs to the building, some pictures of what she wanted it to look like. That would all come from the business, the general information that it has to be, citywide, like the demographics. That's all there from last year. It has not changed significantly enough that we can't just copy paste.
And obviously, should we think twice before asking businesses before we?
We can't, because I mean, what we would basically be saying is, no matter
part of it.
what, we're signing up for another year of Main Street. Because we would need to be, I mean, the money, I have no idea when it would come, but probably it would take at least 6 months for them to make that decision. And so we'd be signing up for another year of Main Street, which
Yes.
isn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
But if we say today, yes, we'd like to pursue that, and we say, staff, please go find, solicit information from the downtown businesses, then there's no reason for us to have a meeting with the city council in February, because we would basically be making that decision today. So me personally, I'm fine with us doing that. It's $200,000 that, but that's probably going to come up every single year. It's competitive. And if we are denied, like we were last year, I mean, Hannah, maybe you'd want to go ahead and just put your application in again. But if we're denied, then I think we move forward with that discussion with city council about whether or not we want to be in this organization.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I think because Elena, it's the due date's around March, I believe, and then you find out in May.
The application
Or
is,
was it February? And I found out in March.
yeah, the application opens in January, closes in February. You find out in March. It's a pretty quick turnaround for a grant, to find out when it is. And at the level we're at right now, we do get kind of bonus points, not necessarily, but because we're at a higher tier level with Main Street, they look, if there's 2 applications that are equal, this would give us extra points right now. So if we decide, if you have the meeting with council and they want to drop down a tier at Main Street, or they decide to leave, yeah, you do have to finish out the grant first before you can leave. But if you do it this year without dropping down, it is a little bonus for you.
Okay, makes sense.
So I guess what I'd like to recommend, and then if you guys give me a nod, I'll make a motion on this. So I'd like to recommend that I would hate to take that opportunity away from downtown businesses. And so I would recommend that we go ahead and say yes to staff. They move forward on this. If we have any interest in it, and I'm sure we will, that we go ahead and follow through on that. We delay the February meeting with the city council until we get that decision. And if the decision ends up being no, then we move forward with that. And if the decision is yes, then we delay it even more until like the end of the year or something like that. And Elena's shaking her head, yes.
Yeah.
So
I know that we've had a couple businesses that have asked about grants that I think would be good applicants for this, and I would hate to, not allow them to apply if we could.
yeah, right.
If you put that into a motion, I'll second.
Okay, all right. It's going to be a simple motion. Most of the discussion that I just said is not going to be in it. So I recommend, or I move that we ask staff to move forward with the application for the Main Street grant.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Aye.
is this going under public comment?
So wait, there's one last thing I need to say on that. So I would also like to ask staff, this is not, doesn't need to be a motion, to delay that meeting that we have scheduled for February until after the decision is made on this.
Okay.
If we have no applicants, then we should keep that meeting date.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say, do we have Elena or Mara, do we have anybody? Has anybody applied yet? Or
Well,
gone
the
through whole-
application's not open yet.
Or, sorry, is anybody interested?
I talked to some people at the food bank and they potentially thought that that might be a good grant for them. And then we've had some people who are interested in applying for the urban renewal grants. And that could also be a match for this grant. So I've had 2 or 3 people that have come to me about urban renewal grants that would also be able to match with the Main Street grant.
We have
So-
to turn in our stuff too.
And I'd like to say that I love your idea of the awning thing. And so that might be something that the city wants to be the leader on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would just keep in mind for the Main Street one, they like to keep things historical. If Elena, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but
They do have very
they have
specific.
very specific things that they want. And if we're gonna change buildings too much and change the historical foundation, or, I don't know if awnings would be too modern for them. I don't know, but just a thought.
Yeah, I've seen, it was maybe last year or the year before, one of the winners was just a downtown district. I want to say it was Coos Bay, maybe one of the coast, and they did all of the awnings on their Main Street. And so they just replaced all the awnings.
Yeah, because the walkability part of it is something that actually is talked about repetitively in the Main Street. And that would increase walkability.
Yeah. Yeah, covered. Areas. Okay, so did we pass that motion to put off the meeting?
We didn't need a motion for it. We just asked staff to do that.
Oh, okay. Got it. If there was no applications. So this is all pending on if we're gonna have applications or not, whether we're gonna move forward. Okay. All right, and is that's something we can post on the Instagram, is something about asking businesses if they're interested in this?
Yeah. We've got all the language that we sent out last year. So I'm sure we can just copy paste.
Make a post about that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we did public comment, commissioner comments. Are we all good? Any other comments? No?
Sorry, yes, I have something to add. I was going to ask you all to share with me, first and foremost, volunteer hours. So we have a quarterly report that will be due in January for Oregon Main Street. So I just want to make sure that I gather all the volunteer hours that were put between October and October through December of this year. And I know we just had the tree lighting, so that's probably going to be more fresh in your memory now. And then any other information you might know. Unfortunately, businesses don't always inform us about whether or not they are closing, for example. We don't really know things about like employees gained or lost. So if you know information like that, please feel free to share that with me as well, and I can include it in the report.
Okay.
All right. And we could just email you that.
Yep, that works.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, it's 10:01 a.m. on December 5th and meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.